Okay, thank you very much for joining us once again. This is our final session for tonight, and we are very we apologize for the delay. We've had a wonderful discussion just before this, and it was too difficult to cut. In fact, there were still a few questions left unanswered, but we will make sure that they will be answered by the appropriate speaker. So our for this session, we will have a tech talk, and we have with us Domenico Ricci. He is the regional sales manager of M2 Emmedue Advanced Building Systems, and he's here with us tonight to share about this piece of building technology and how it can enhance quality, safety, and sustainability in the work sites. So the stage is yours, Domenico.
Okay, thank you, and very good evening to everybody that is in Southeast Asia, in Asia, and good morning to the people that are in this part of the world in Europe, where I'm actually. My name is Domenico Ricci, and I'm Italian, and I've been working since 2007 in my company, and I'm not an engineer. I have a degree in law. But I spent the several years traveling all around the world. In the last 3 years, I've been in Southeast Asia to try to better understand the building industry over there. And I really like to thank Mr. Brian Ernesto Regalado to have the chance to share some points of view with you in this International Construction Project Management Summit 2021. I would like to start with you just to see how important the construction industry is for that, because it's account for the volume of construction output. It account, and it will grow by 85% by 2030. This is some data that we had from the Global Construction Perspective and the Oxford Economics. And the construction sector account for over 13 of the global gross domestic product. So, and the sector both reflects the impact of the country's economy very directly, and also it's an important catalyst for recovery and growth, especially in this particular moment of where we are facing on this pandemic that we hope to have already nearly behind. And by 2030, the construction will account for over 15% of the world gross domestic product. And going and looking more forward, basically by 2015, there will be 2 million additional city dwellers. And the sustainable urbanization will be a major construction challenge, because we do need innovative products and solutions, and because our city will grow exponentially, and we should be ready to face this issue. The construction, what I would like to share with you, that it's a world that doesn't grow. And if you think that in the past 20 years, just grow 1%, and this is the productivity that increased in the last 20 years. Making a comparison, basically with the major productivity challenge, if we compare manufacturing with construction, we saw that manufacturing increased globally 2.8% per year in the past 2 decades. But construction, just 1% of annual improvement. And there is a list of reasons that I would like to to share with you. And the high variability, because unlike the manufacturers, we tend to follow predictable and repeatable processes. Building sector face high variability because usually are men over procedures. The construction tends to put trust in individual experience and expertise over empirics, and this doesn't happen in manufacturing industry. We have shortfalls in accountability. We have consistent failure of companies to deliver project on time, and most important, based on the pre-shared budget. The talent management, we have a very high turnover, and there's no talent skill management still. They're still missing. And there's no defined path for professional excellence. And every day and every year we try to reinventing the wheel, but not by not standardizing operation and project. And this allow the company doesn't scale up the best practice as well as they could. And usually different projects have different procedures, different tasks and different issues. But there's no reason not to learn from the experience. And we always failure to adapt new technology because as human being, to face the challenge is the most difficult issue. The value chain is very fragmented, and the project life cycle includes many different players in every project, and conflicting in goals and competing in results. So there's a very difficult to put on the same page different people that have different goals. There's a lot of, and I saw also in Southeast Asia, an extensive subcontracting, and there are a lot of subcontractors that are very small and not sophisticated. So they lack of effective governance and talent management, and the company that's hired them don't see as their responsibility to improve matters. And there's all, and especially in Asia, a lot of competition, and the competitive pressure, the people don't like to put additional risk to change and to do something different from what they are used to. What my company could provide, knowing the fact that all that we saw in the previous slides, we can put some innovative solution to construction that usually is not very willing to change, because we offer a standardized procedures that allow to have a lot of simplification on the sites, and we can share with the people a lot of data, and this gives measurability. We can train local unskilled people, and this gives also a social function when the projects are done in very poor or very low income area. We can guarantee a quality of finished building with very high performances, and we can guarantee sustainability. With traditional system, obviously, I should say that it's very difficult to plan timing and standardize the process, because each construction has its own issues. And it's difficult also to measure, and there are not tools up to now that basically can give the chance to respect and to the previous budget and goals that usually owner or client expects. There's a very high quantity of players, and everyone has his own opposing objective and interest. If you consider one supplier of the material or one company that are involved in the construction and all people that rent the tools, and this gives a lot of difficulties to put all the interest towards the same goals. In our system, basically, we do have a software that allow the quantification exactly of material, and we will see later that we can have just one material that could be used to build any kind of building. So in this case, with this software, we can estimate the quantity of panels, the volume of transportation, and the completing materials required, like additional steel or concrete or shotcrete. And we can also see in advance the working hours, because we have this data that we can use to see and to know exactly when the project will be finished. So with all this information, we can prepare, and we usually do, a timely planning of the various construction phases. And in this case, the working teams work in the different tasks. Because with Emmedue building system, we have a certain time for the assembly and for the completion phases. And the panels can be planned and can be measured. In fact, the use of Emmedue panel allows to organize the construction site with industrial logistics and to standardize and optimize the various construction phases. We have, for example, a task for the foundation in this large, massive social housing project, teams that make the anchoring bars, and we have a team that cut the panel and assembling the panel, another team that plaster and put the concrete. So we can have different tasks, and nobody have some issue with the other teams, because they can work separately. And we are talking about an industrialized building system, and several teams can work on the site on the same times in the different phases, and we can use unskilled workers because the material is very light and very easy to handle and easy to install. So in this case, we can mix skilled people and unskilled people and have very high productivity rates. Now I show you with some slides how we can implement an industrialized building site. For example, we do have one team that prepare the foundation and prepare all the panels ready for the installation on the building yard. Then we have a team that made based on the output of our design software all the panels for the assembly. And then another team basically goes on with the concrete projection and with the shotcreting with render. And obviously there's a team that complete the project with all the finishing, so doors, windows, and all plumbing and installations. So the Emmedue panel give the pace, base the rhythm, and all the activities are based on just one material. And the performance of the various players can be measured. And the quantity of material used for building 100, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 units, we know exactly the quantity of concrete, of steel, of panel, and accessories required in advance. So we can bring all, and we can make adjustment for any deviation. If we lose sometimes, obviously we can organize to recover and to be on time based on the requirement of the project. Building site with Emmedue is avoid any uncertainty of construction timing, and because we can measure every single task. Other advantages, obviously, we are talking in this time about a pandemic and a post-pandemic period. We can organize tasks that with group that are fixed module that allow to distribute team in the building yard respecting distances. So organizing different groups will allow not to spread out tasks in well-separate shifts, and hence granting the traceability of the people involved in a group. For example, we can have a task of 4 people, and that they are starting in one time, and then they complete the shift without any contact with other tasks. So we can be sure to trace all the people that are part of this. And also the distancing, because Emmedue panel the size are 1.20 and the height depending on the design. So, and they are easy to install and to move, and allow people to work safely, while respecting the personal distance. And obviously, we have a social value that because the economic crisis put a lot of people in difficulties. And in over 40 years that we've been in the market worldwide, we allow the people that also are not skilled to be part of our building yard, and we train them, and consider usually in South America, maybe 60-70% of the manpower also is women, because they can carry, they can move, and they can complete buildings because it's a lightweight material. 80% of the operator may be unskilled people that usually, obviously, we mix with skilled people. So in this case, we can respond to the social problem of unemployment, because we can provide an easy and quick access to a job, and sometimes we are also the people that are living in the area are the one that helps and to start working in the same houses that they will use after when they will be completed. And what is this basically the main elements of our building solution is these panels that are, it's a modular panel made of 2 electro-welded galvanized steel meshes that are joined together by connector, and they are sandwiched in a polystyrene foam slab that is shaped and contribute to the distribution of a perfect heating insulation. We do have a set of building elements. The most used is the single panel, but we also have a double panel for high-rise building. We do have stairs, landing, and the slab or the floor panels. So we have a set of building elements that we can produce and use to build completely a building with our solution. It's the system is very versatile and can be mixed also with steel frame structure, with reinforced concrete structure, has internal partition of cladding wall. We can use in the system in precast. We can use in a steel frame structure. And the main characteristic that the panels, when came out from the manufacturing, are very light and easy to transport and to handling. We can guarantee the rapid installation using also unskilled people that obviously need to be trained in a very few time. The cost effectiveness is one of the main reasons why basically a lot of companies actually are evaluating and are using worldwide our building solution. and the sustainability and the energy efficiency that we can guarantee using polystyrene, that is very high performance thermal insulation material. We do tested and we have all the certification and the approval for the fire resistance, for the cyclone resistance, earthquake resistance, the blast resistance, and thermal resist insulation, of course, based on the most important laboratories all around the world. And we are obviously certified in every country where actually Emmedue is being present, and there are more than 30 countries, and we have obviously the certification to use our solution in Europe, in the United States, South America, and Southeast Asia, and Middle East, and Africa, of course. What I would like to focus with you, that the weight of 1 square meter of panels is less than 4 kilos for 1 square meter, and the same weight I put in comparison with ceramic hollow bricks and CMU block or single, and basically for 8 centimeter thickness we are basically just less than 4 kilos, but for blocks we are much more. And for consider that obviously all the material should be transported from the manufacturing to the building yard, and this is why basically we start to save and to be more efficient since that manufacturing moment. And the comparison for the transportation of the same quantity, it means 8 tons or 32 cubic meter of material with just 1 truck. This is the number of trucks required to have the same quantity of material moved to the building yard. So in this case, obviously, the shipping cost and the cost of the trucks, the cost of the container, and obviously there's an impact on our traffic and also on our environment that is very high. When we put the panels and we transport the panel to the building yard, then we complete the weight of the panel completed on both sides. It's around 120-125 kilos, and this is it's much lower weight compared to the other solution. And completing the structure, basically you can have a very significant cost saving starting from foundation of the building, and also considering for the high-rise building, using panels for internal partition, you can save 1/3 of the weight just using this building solution. And coming back to the fact that we have a rapid installation and higher rentability, because just 1 square meter of panel, we consider for the installation and shotcreting on both sides 1 hour and 10 minutes. And this is compared to the traditional that it took usually 4 hours. And for this you can understand that obviously we reduce the return of the investment of using this building solution, because the time and the manpower obviously will benefit from it. Usually all these benefits in all around the world account for the raw building in saving about 40 or 50% compared to any traditional building solution, and comparing and also considering the fact that obviously you can use all the Emmedue panels for completing every kind of building, from commercial to residential to industrials. Coming back to the fact that obviously the sustainability, we this is the saving based on thermal resistance, respecting the environment, and the fact that obviously this is the per square meter compared to the other building system. In this case, this is the R value that our panels, when completed, can guarantee, and also in this case we have a considerable differences. And we basically one of the major issue about the pollution is the fact that CO2 emission that and the building consume an enormous quantity of energy to heating and for the cooling down of the depending of the area where the building is based. But the energy efficiency is the answer to reduce the rising energy cost and the CO2, the dioxide carbon emission. So we can consider a low carbon system because we can reduce 40% compared to baked material because our panels are not baked. And during the lifetime of the building, obviously, we can save 65% of CO2 emission during the residential use of the building. Because compared to the other solution, obviously, we can guarantee a higher thermal insulation that it's a saving in terms of the fact that you could cool down with air conditioning the buildings or heating. Obviously, we've been in this since 1981, and we tested all the panels, and we are certified, and we reached the higher standard of reliability of the product. And EPS is a very stable material and doesn't have any changes in 100 years, and it's confined among between the two shotcrete. So, and there's this connector that join the two galvanized mesh that gives the strength of the panels to the panels. We are talking about a solution that is already in the market since a long times, and we had a lot of different projects that we can show. There's more than 1 million building, but just I would like to show some, just to show that in this case it's some multi-story hospital, some swimming pool or schools. In this case, are public buildings, and commercial buildings like hotel, like the museum or stadium. The residential building obviously is one of the main interesting application, because obviously you can complete and finish the panel depending of the kind of project with every finishing that you like. And social housing project where we can guarantee the best application, because having an extensive use, and usually they are the project that face the major issues regarding the quantity of material and the timing, and most of all the budget that you should respect. There are other social houses in all around the world. And what is very interesting, in my opinion, is also the use of panels in multi-stories, because the easy of the transportation and the fact that you can light the whole structure, so you can design the whole structure with less concrete and less steel. It's a saving that should be considered, considering the fact that you have 1/3 less of weight. We had also experience with the modular solution, because we can prepare a modular home, and then can be transported on top of a truck, something that you couldn't do with the precast, because it could be too heavy. We are just having to from the manufacturing point of view, we use just two raw material. We use expanded polystyrene and galvanized steel wire to have the Emmedue suite of panels. And we design, commission, and install manufacturing plants that start from the two raw material, and we have a complete set of machinery that allow to have the output capacity that is required based on the market and based on the clients. We do provide also obviously the software that allow to all designer to using starting from an AutoCAD, DVG or DXF or DGN file to have the output and to have all the panels and the accessories needed, and so we can design and we can assemble all the quantity of panel and the CAD that should be made on directly on the building yard, and we can make the estimate of any kind of building that are considered. What we provide as company, we training the on-site staff that should use and install the panels. We train the factory staff that, and obviously we train on the use of Emmedue Panel CAD software, and we help for all the assistance regarding the test and certification that should be may be required from the authorities. We provide technical assistance during, before, during, and after the installation, and then we have our online customer support. We'll have a knowledge community that allow this platform that is an online tool to use directly on the mobile or on the laptop or PC to have all courses and all information for the building system, for the use of the machinery, and also for the design for all the people that are involved in our world. So we have a full process of integration because we are talking about innovation. So we accompany our clients to use this innovative solution with all the information and the time and the people and our assistance required. Our values, to arriving at the end of my presentation, that we try to rethink the building material, the building process, and the energy solution with the cost saving, and we try to have we try to build speed, and we are ecological friendly. We are very, very resistant and with a very high energy efficiency, and we have a fully integrated production process. We are present in nearly in every continent, and we have over 70 production plants worldwide and over 1,000 construction already built all around the world. We are present in Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, and hopefully after this pandemic time to have more additional installation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Domenico, for that wonderful presentation. I've used this for quite a good number of projects before, but I think it was here under a different company, and indeed I believe it has been the first one I built was in 2005, and it's still there. It's still there. We never used. I think we designed it in such a way that we never had to use column. We really designed it to be a load-bearing wall system.
Yes.
We had a great designer who was willing to push the limits of structural design for that, because many would say you can only use it for non-load-bearing wall. So it indeed saved us a lot of. I think it reduced our construction time by half. The savings was around 40%. And we never heard the owner complain about it being hot during the summer days. So that was really that was one product that we really enjoyed using. So we encourage our audience to ask their questions if you have any. I believe there was one here. This is from Jason. In previously completed projects, were workers trained on just one or two skills, or were they trained in all M2 related skills and rotated across different projects?
Yes, that I agree. I totally agree with you that basically this is the building solution. Now we cannot delay anymore to face and to try to innovate the building industry that it's very conservative. People don't want to change, but we must change because the challenge that we are expecting in the next decade will be so big. So this we can provide one solution. There are more, but in this case, we have the chance to also use unskilled people because the material and it's very easy to move, easy to install, and easy to complete. But allow to have very high performances in terms of resistance. Because when completed, a wall, like I have just this one here, when completed a wall, basically you have this part that are very strong and the polystyrene that give you just the thermal insulation. So I think that for Southeast Asia, where also the manpower is becoming more and more an issue, I think that it's an interesting chance to do something differently from traditional.
Okay. How about um, how about availability here in the Philippines? Or is there are there current plants running now? Because I believe before it was offered, M2 was offered through another company. I'm not sure. I don't remember it anymore. But
Actually, yes. Actually, the material is available at the market. There's a company called Next Century Building that is based in Calamba, Laguna, that feature our technology and can provide very high quality solution, and they also can help with the design and the installation because they've been in the market since 2013. So they are quite expert. So, but the market in the Philippines, in South Asia, is quite increasing, and I think that it's time to try something new because the future is there. The future is and obviously, but most of the people are still. And because I talk every day with the company owner that would like to change, would like to do something different, but obviously they have their technician. They are not very confident, and they say, "Oh, please just pay attention." But the material is already in the market since 1981, so we are all around the world. So it's time to try. But in the Philippines, the material is available.
I think some of our audience would be interested also to know if it's available in all countries in Europe, because most of our attendees here are either from the Philippines or from Europe. Outside,
Yes.
Is it also available?
Yes, it's our last installation was in 2 hours north from London, so it's still also in United Kingdom, in Spain. There are different. We are more than 70 production line all around the world. So,
and all those tools that you showed, like the learning platforms and all those, are available to all markets where you operate.
Are available for the people that are involved in our building solution. So obviously our clients can enjoy all the information and all the all the technical that they may need, because we transfer our know-how to the people that would like to use it. Because it's true that the material is very easy to install, to move, but have a very high engineering side, so you should know what you are doing. So if you consider that we assist every client during the designing, installation, and after sales, so we are always side by side with our clients.
Okay, there are two questions here. One is from Pars Kinhai. Will there be any issues if this system will be integrated to an already existing concrete wall system of a building?
No, because one of the main application also in Manila, for example, is for high-rise building. I received some picture about a 32 floor building that they just completed. So instead of anchoring the panels on the slab, basically we anchoring the panel also on the wall. So it's okay to use and to combine our building solution with already existing walls or column and beams with the reinforced concrete structure.
Okay, and another question is there an evaluation for the wind resistance performance of this technology? Can it withstand more than 300 kph of wind speed, and have you performed a ballistic?
Yes, we performed a ballistic test and a cyclone test in the United States so we made the test for the object that were thrown by the wind through the panels, because obviously when a cyclone arrives, the problem are the objects that are hit and they are thrown to the walls. And we passed both the projectile test with the wood object and with the steel object. So I can share the results of the test that we made.
Domenic, maybe if you can provide those test certificates, we can actually, or maybe you can email us the links to those certificates, and maybe we can integrate it in your virtual booth.
Yes, of course. I will be very happy.
Okay, and then lastly, there's one more question. Just for production cost per square meter, how much does it cost in percentage compared to concrete blocks or hollow blocks?
This is a very depending obviously on where is based this comparison. Is it based in Europe? Is it based in Africa? Is it based in Philippines? But
from the Philippines, I think.
To give an idea, usually we are 50% less in terms of cost, but we are much more productive in terms of time. So instead of blocks are very unproductive and very slow. So in our case, we can double the production, and we usually are 50% less expensive. So we completed just an evaluation some weeks ago, and we saw we are, for example, for social housing, where usually the cost in the Philippines is around 10,000 to 14,000 pesos. Our cost was less than 7,000. So it's and obviously we can do it much faster than compared to with blocks.
Okay, I think there are no other questions. So
I have one, Brian.
Okay. Good.
Domenico, very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. I think a lot of the countries in Europe have been using this EPS technology, and it's been decades that we are using. So the question from my side is like, when we compare the costs, so we cannot compare the cost of this material with the concrete blocks, because anyways, if we have a concrete block, then we have the insulation, the extra insulation that we provide in the buildings. So at the end, the comparison will be the concrete blocks with the insulation and the material that we are talking about today. So how cost effective do you think, if we compare these two parameters, would be?
It's something that always, this is a very nice question, because every day I receive it, and I always say, please compare apple to apple, because we are comparing something very different from performances from point of view. So for sure, when the people say, okay, this is the cost of this is different, but obviously doesn't consider the fact that you should add some thermal insulation that in our system is already included. So in this case, we are always talking about 50% less, but considering the fact that sometimes builders are more interested in terms of the time required to complete a building instead of the performances. And this is something that from cultural point of view we should change, because to let have a better future from sustainable point of view, everyone should put some additional effort to guarantee that the building that we provide are energy efficiency. So building with blocks, in my opinion, doesn't make sense, because it's baked material. Vietnam government would try to avoid from 2022 any baked material from the market. So a lot of people are looking for new chances. Obviously, there's a chance for example, for precast. Everybody in Thailand, everybody are crazy for precast, but obviously because they can reduce the people on the building yard, but they also have problem with thermal insulation, because up to now the material is not insulated. So they are basically putting more and more machine for the air conditioning that at the end of the day are very polluted, and then they put CO2 emission on the atmosphere.
Yeah, I quite agree with you on this point. One more question related to this. So we have thermal insulation with these materials, but sometimes we, for example, in Germany, we have some fire safety zone areas. And at that places, we provide insulation that is fire resistant. So does your material also provide such kind of factors?
Yes, of course, because we use self-extinguished material. And the material is also confined in the chew. So our test, we put fire on this, and basically the material just melt, and you don't have any smoke or any poison emission like polyurethane. Because a lot of people mix polystyrene with polyurethane, but they have completely different performances. And we were tested for 90 minutes for walls, and with load-bearing walls, and for 120 minutes for non-load-bearing walls. And obviously, we also have the test results available.
Wow, that's fantastic. Maybe I will recommend our next client if we have buildings. Yeah, because I talked a lot about that during my master studies, but we couldn't come to a solution where we say that we can replace, for example, wood by EPS. So there was always this polystyrene word that, makes us think like maybe it's not sustainable at the end. But if I check online the results, it's quite eco-friendly material and can be used on construction.
Yes, but considering that we started 35 years ago when talking about using polystyrene for buildings, people say, oh, you're crazy. Actually, it's one of the most interesting material, because there's any changes from chemical point of view, it's stable and it's very safe, because we sometimes we have ice cream that is in polystyrene box, we transport and we put the helmets with the polystyrene, and it's very nice material. So I hope the people should consider this in their future project.
Okay. Sorry, Brian, if I'm not letting you speak. I have a series of questions.
And actually, if you factor in also the operating costs for the energy savings during operation, especially in hot, humid climates like us, it reduces the need for more artificial cooling, uh, and that actually adds up to the cost savings in terms of energy efficiency during the life of the building. There's one last question here. Thanks for answering my question. Another question is that how will leaks be addressed if they occur in the system?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
How will leaks be addressed if they occur in the system?
The links.
Leaks.
I think the water leaks.
Water leaks.
Well, the water leaks. No, basically, obviously, we in the market they had a problem because they use the panel that you put the panel together and then add an additional wire mesh. In our case, basically, our panel have an overlap mesh that allow to put the panel easily together and join together. So in this case, there's no problem for the linking. And we also had a test with rainfall, and we also have this. But it's a very different. Also, if the panels in the market seems more or less the same, there's quite a big difference from technical point of view. So let's check and just understand which are the differences.
Okay, so probably what needs to be supervised is how the plaster is applied, because I think that the water leaks normally normally happens when there is delamination or separation of the concrete from the EPS, and this happens when the mortar is applied while the EPS have dust or have grease in them, and then probably they are not using the correct machine, because you need quite a good pressure for it to really hold on to the EPS. So I think that's one area that needs to be.
Yes, consider that our panels have a special design where they have the grip where the shot grip can be put, and also obviously we recommend that it doesn't make sense to put by hand the concrete, because we need to have shotcrete by machinery like TurboSol, like the one that you can find in the market that guarantee the correct pressure. Because obviously the rendering is in every material that you render. If you render the wrong material with the wrong pressure, obviously you have a very bad results. But this is something that is quite common.
Okay, I think there are no more questions. Thank you very much, Domenico, for this wonderful presentation.
I will share with you the link with all the tests and the results, and also we also have an YouTube channel where there are a lot of videos and information very interesting.
That's great, and thank you for bearing with us. I know we're running a little late. How we wish we had the whole night or the whole afternoon, or the whole morning in Canada to do all these discussions, but unfortunately we have a schedule to follow, and we thank you everyone for bearing with us. We're running 17 minutes overtime. So just to remind everyone, this is not the last day of the summit. We still have one more day. That's on February 6th, next week, same time. You should use the same link that you used for today and last week and the first day. And next week we will have once again 4 speakers, and we will have a longer question and answer and open forum. And then we will wrap up this whole summit, but next week. So please join us next week. I'm sure we will have another productive session. And just to before we end the session, I hope you can visit the website which was posted on the feed. Your feedback matters to us, so we encourage everyone to fill up those forms, give us your feedback, because we want to improve this summit next week and next year when we do this summit again in 2022. So it has been a productive night. Thank you, Domenico. Thank you, Hargit, for co-hosting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Day, and we'd like to see all of you once again next week as we explore the next normal in construction project management practice. See you. Good night and good afternoon and good morning.
Bye bye. Bye bye.